Go.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is not the Stephen King podcast. This is something that we call Lilja's Library Look At, and this time we're going to look at the It trailer that just hit the web a couple of days ago. So we are going to analyze it frame by frame, almost.
Almost, yes.
Yeah.
So
this is a very powerful trailer. It's been viewed 197 times and 197 million times in just the first 24 hours.
Which is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is, and it's about 138,000 views each minute for 24 hours. So that's really impressive, I think.
Right. So we're trying this for the video chat for the first time. So if there's any bugs with it, we apologize. We'll hopefully get more professional with it as we go along. But with the breaking news on this trailer, we just didn't want to wait too long. So.
No, and it's fun. This way we can show you the parts we're talking about,
yes.
and not just talk about them. And
so,
you can always ignore our faces up in the corner if you
yeah, that's
you
right.
don't want to look at that.
Yeah, because we're probably the scariest things you're going to see in this trailer or video anyhow.
Yeah.
So let's start it up.
Yes.
And as Hans was mentioning, you can see that what this trailer has done, which is just mind-blowing, that when Star Wars broke the record at 112 million views, I think everybody was like, wow, that'll never be broken. But it's consistently being broken by more and more films. Just before it, the Fast and Furious #8 hit 139 million, which everybody thought was pretty amazing. But it just really just blew everybody away, like blew the competition away. Like it's almost double the first Star Wars movie, which in this day and age really just kind of blows my mind. And I think as we go through the images of the trailer and talk about it, I think we'll maybe come up with some reasons as to why it's been so popular. But I don't know for you, Hans, but for me, this is the feeling when I saw this, that I don't know why, because I don't really, it doesn't, I don't get any, investment or anything from this, but I feel like a fan of a sports team who's just won the championship for, like the World Cup or something. It's because, Stephen King and horror is never really at the top of anybody's visibility list in terms of what's cool. Like, it's usually like Marvel movies and Star Wars movies. So, and lately Disney movies. But for this, it's really, in a way, it's kind of inexplicable, but it's still a very cool feeling. And I imagine Warner Brothers must just be licking their chops waiting for this movie to hit the theaters now.
Yeah, so, and I think the most exciting was that we have known that this trailer is coming for some time before it came, and you always build the anticipation of it, and it could just have easily been a total flop, and you had been disappointed with it. And I think that when you're expecting something and waiting for it so much, and it really lives up to your expectations, then it's really great. It's a good feeling.
And this is a fantastic trailer, so let's get into it.
Yep.
So one of the cool things that I think if you go to Hans' site, there's a link that you put up, Hans, about comparing the 1990 television series versus the trailer for it.
Yeah.
And you can just tell, like, from a shot like this, just how gorgeous this film looks. The cinematographer, who's a Korean, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I think he's done work on such films like Old Boy and Stroker. And I mean, every frame of this movie is just like a picture that you could put up on your wall. It's so luscious, and like you compare this to, say, like the Justice League trailer where everything's gray and dull. This movie just pops with the color. Like, it doesn't show up maybe so great in these images, but the Georgie's raincoat and the grass, and it just looks great. And then you see up in the upper right corner of the picture the Jackson Street sign. So all these great little touches. So I think, like, once I got past where Georgie and Billy were, talking about the boat and hugging, and once he went outside, it just really struck me how gorgeous this trailer was starting to look.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm so happy that they decided to go with this scene, because
Hmm.
this is a really classic scene from the both from the book and from the TV miniseries.
Yeah.
So and I'm really excited that they did it, and as you say, it looks great.
Yeah, and they're cleverly leveraging off of the people's memories of the miniseries by showing us the sequence, because people are going to go, oh, I remember that when I was a kid. And I
Yeah,
watched a lot of trailer reactions, and people were talking about, oh, this just looks like the TV show. But then what they do
yeah,
is they change a couple of things, and people are saying, well, how did he get around the first workhorse and not the second one? And I think, I think we'll see in the logistics of the scene that maybe the boat came into between the workhorses or something like that.
yeah.
But I love what they're doing here. But I'll let you talk. I'm kind of hogging the mic so far. I'm so excited. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this is almost a bit comical when he runs under the thing there and hit his head and fall,
Yeah,
and you kind of laugh at him, and I like that twist when you go from, this is a horror movie, and
yeah,
still you can laugh at it, and as we will see later, we know what's coming, and so I think that it's that little extra touch that really makes it so good.
yeah. I mean, I agree totally. Like, getting people to laugh just before a scary moment is a great way of letting their guard down, because they kind
Yeah,
of relax a little bit, right? So then,
yeah,
but then when we get to the next scene, and I also love the Dairy Public Works
yeah, yeah,
logo on the workhorse, so it's really reinforcing what this town is, because the town is an important character in the story.
yeah.
So here we have it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and we know this is coming, and he's
yeah,
looking for his boat, and we get a couple of clips where we see from Pennywise view and from Georgie's view, and there's a couple of quick clips with nothing happen, and we know that Pennywise is going to show up. There's no doubt about it,
yeah,
but you still jump when he does, and I must say that the old Pennywise is a classic, but I mean this version is so much more scary. I think
hmm,
so much darker.
yeah. I do have one concern, because I think generally, as we go through the images that we're looking at, I think what's really exciting is that this movie looks to be really much more faithful to the book. But
Yeah,
this one sequence, while I love it, it also has me a little concerned, because if you like, when you see the reverse shot, when you see his Georgie's face looking into the grill, it's a very wide grill. So
yeah,
like, I don't like, and I think it's wide enough for him to be pulled completely into the sewer, not
yeah,
just his arm. So I'm wondering if they're going to be changing that, because
yeah.
maybe
They
that's,
might.
yeah, because that might just be a little too graphic still. I don't know, but I think I heard for that Fukunaga's original version, he was like going to rip him to shred like he was in a meat grinder. So, but I think
Yeah,
from what I'm seeing here, I think he's going to be totally pulled into the sewer. But we'll have to see.
yeah,
And I like that they don't show it what happens either,
yeah,
because
yeah,
leaving that to your imagination now, you're thinking of what could really happen. So, and then, and we've complained about this with other movies, and I know you have, Hans, is a lot of times they have a movie, but they don't even acknowledge that it's a Stephen King project.
yeah,
So I love that they put this in, and I love that they're also reinforcing that this is based on the novel, not on a miniseries. So there's,
yeah.
they're putting
It's
that clearly in the viewer's mind. So that's
yeah. It's
important.
not just a remake. It's really
Exactly,
done from scratch.
exactly. Okay, so here we have beautiful Derry, aka Port Hope, Ontario, Maine.
Yeah,
And Port Hope, when I used to live in Ontario, was probably about an hour and a half from where I lived. I've been there once or twice, so this is kind of cool to see the shot uh, of Port Hope standing in its dairy. And I have to say that it's a excellent selection for a location like that. Just screams dairy to me.
yeah. Do you recognize it, or have they
Oh yeah,
changed it a lot?
I think maybe the gazebo in the front, but
Yeah,
that might be there. But and there might be an extra bridge, but I can't be sure. But it does look familiar for sure. It
yeah,
looks
yeah. I think this looks like if someone would ask me to describe Derry without seeing a picture, this is something like this that would pop up in my mind. So I think this is perfect.
yeah. if anything, maybe it's a little too nice looking, but
yeah, but isn't that the meaning, that on the surface it's a small, quiet, nice little town, and beneath you have this monster where the grown up can't really see and the kids are taken by. So I think I like it.
Okay, cool. All right, and this is a very creepy scene because the balloon, like when balloons float, they kind of, bob a little bit and the string kind of trails behind, but this is just the string is going straight and the balloon's just going in a perfect straight line across the room.
Yeah.
And I think we all know what's going to happen at a certain point, but again, they don't show it to us, which I think is just fantastic. So very cool scene, and I'm glad to see it's in there.
Yeah, and I like the fact that all the grown-ups that you see, they're just sitting there and they can't see the balloon, and the kid is definitely seeing it. So that's also reinforcing the idea that the grown-ups can't see this horror that's in town, and only the kid can. So
yeah, and you got to like the sign on the corner: reach for the stars, read a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then we cut to a scene of darkness, but it sets up something very important later on in the trailer. But you can hear the voices, and it's children saying, "We all float down here."
Yeah, that actually gave me goosebumps. I think that was really scary, and you didn't see, as you say, it was just a totally black image, black screen.
Yeah.
But you hear those kids' voices there, and this is really scary.
Yeah, and then you hear the click of a flashlight.
Yeah.
And then we get to see the Losers Club entering
the
sewers from the Barrens. And I don't know if, obviously that a lot of this was the sewers. We saw the shots of the sets for the sewer pipes. I don't know if this is, maybe that's a matte painting or a photograph behind them of something of the background. But if that's the interior of the sets that they built for the movie, that's really impressive work there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It looks really dirty and scary, so I think they got the right feeling to it.
Yeah, and it's also conveniently large.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But this is from Oshawa.
Yeah, the house. And it's interesting. We saw this house being built and built and built and built for a long time on the internet, and we can follow photos of it being built and how it grew to be that scary house that it is.
Yeah.
And I can't get over how creepy it looks and how real it looks.
Yeah.
We know that it's just a front and not a full building, and I think it's a great set, and I'm very impressed with it, how it looks.
Yeah, same here. And this is from my hometown where I grew up. I lived there till I was 10. So I know the area, but I'm not quite sure exactly where they filmed this, what street it was on again. It looks really good. I love how the picket, or not picket, but the fence is all bent. So it's obviously people have ignored the no trespassing sign, so it's obviously probably a hideout for teenagers to drink and make out and whatnot. The only thing that throws me off a little bit is that tree just looks a little too. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
So that's I'm really as we're going through these clips, we're seeing that they're really going a lot closer to the book than what anything that the miniseries could afford to do. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the slideshow, which is the center point of the trailer, and it's a nice update from the flipping of the book pages.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because this is taking place in the 80s, so we don't have the cell phone or the internet and stuff like that, but it's still updated from the miniseries and also from the book. But I think they do it very good, and you can see how this is actually the mother who is turning into Pennywise. And I like how we don't really see him in this trailer. We see him, but we don't see him because he's like this. He's disguised, and you only see quick clips of him. And of course, you can freeze the image and see better pictures of him. But if you see the trailer as it's done, you don't really see Pennywise and how he looks, and I think that's a good thing. The only thing I would have liked, but I'm also kind of happy that they didn't include it, is his voice.
Yeah, a lot of people said that.
Yeah, but I think that's more me being curious of how he sound, because I think that for the effect, it's better to wait until the movie comes out and see it then. So that's just my curiosity talking. So I think they did the right decision not to let him speak.
Yeah, and this is a really nice updating of what was a book flipping page sequence, and it also, I think cinematically it works better, and it also shows the audience for the first time the sort of like the scope of Pennywise's powers, that he's able to manipulate people's minds to see things that aren't really there. And I also like the music during this thing. It's kind of like almost like a like Freddy, the Nightmare from Elm Street kind of, or Jason, kind of repeating thing. And at this point, the trailer has been sort of working its way slowly through these story points. But after this, then it really starts to jump forward, and that the scenes play like they're more flashes from the projectors. You sort of get that click, click, click thing going through the rest of the trailer until we get to the very last scene. So I think that's really cool as well. And I don't know if in this next slide, if it is the next one, let me see, if this is caught by everybody, but this is back at the house. And if you see by the corner of the house, right down there, we have our leper, the leper.
Yeah.
So
I hadn't noticed him there.
Yeah.
Until now, so that's really cool. I remember someone saying that they wish they would have seen him in the trailer, and there is.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Good catch.
Yes. And then I think this is the werewolf scene, maybe, because his fingers are popping out of the glove.
Yeah. It must be Pennywise turning into a werewolf.
Yeah. So again, and I assume this is inside the Nine-Bolt house, because everything looks pretty decrepit and cobwebbed and whatnot. So a great shot of the hand. Again, each of these scenes are like, you could put them up as posters on your walls. They're just really gorgeous shots. And the fire scenes with Mike. This was probably one of the creepiest things, because I wasn't expecting it. And it's interesting, the only thing we haven't seen so far, I think, is the Paul Bunyan statue. And I'm wondering how that's going to play in the movie. But this was a really cool shot with all these hands scrabbling to get out the door and the smoke pouring out. So I love it.
Yeah.
And of course, the infamous blood scene. And interesting fact about this scene is that the blood in the trailer, they had to color it black for ratings point of view, but they said in the movie it will definitely be red.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. So
yeah, so that's a cool overhead shot. You can just sort of see her face and right into it.
I think this, if you compare this scene with the one from the miniseries, I think you get the feeling of how much this new movie will be rawer and darker than the miniseries, because here it's just pouring blood, and the other was a balloon that popped and didn't really. It wasn't as gory as this is. I think they're going full out on this. Yeah,
definitely. All right, and then of course, we get back to our sort of like, this is the bookend to the opening of the trailer. So even this trailer has a nice little story to it. And what did you think of the kid during this scene?
Well, I'm going to confess something now, and that is, in a horror movie, there's nothing more scary than small kids.
Yeah.
So this is really scary, I think, and I think the actor who plays George is brilliant. And he's really doing it right, and he's perfect for the role. So I think this scene is really creepy, and he's really creepy here, I think.
Yeah, I love how how his voice becomes more and more aggressive each time he repeats it. At first he's like sort of like pleading with him, and then it becomes like a joke, and then he starts to get mad, and each version of it is more creepier than the first one. So that's really cool.
I don't know how old he is, but he can't be more than 7, 8 maybe.
Yeah.
So he's doing a really great job in this movie.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things with this movie is how are the kids going to do? And so far from this, very select set of scenes, I think people have been very impressed with how these kids are playing the characters. So
yeah.
And then of course there he is, head half out of the water, and that looks like you can see his arm kind of going towards Georgie, like he's manipulating him like a puppet, I think. So that's kind of cool. And I didn't see this, but somebody else pointed out, if you look at his reflection in the water, his eyes don't show up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Good catch. I missed that one as well. Man.
Yeah, same here. So yeah, that's really cool. That's a great shot. So again, another gorgeous shot. Love the eyes. And then it doesn't really show well because it's you're trying to capture one frame out of a very fast sequence. So but Pennywise is rushing across the water towards Bill, it's
I think that this will be a really effective scene in the movie when he runs, because it's as you say, it's fast and it's hard to really see what's happening, but I think it's scary as hell.
Yes. And when you watch the trailer, were you actually scared at any point watching it? Because I see trailer reactions where people are like freaking out and stuff like that. But
well, no, not in that way. I think I've seen too much horror to be that. But I kind of jumped when in the beginning when Pennywise is in the sewer, even though I know that he was there.
Yeah.
And but I kind of get a like goosebumps. But of joy, because I like it when it's scary and when it's like this and so good. But I can't say I was scared in that way.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yeah, no, I'm watching it, and because like you, I know the story so well. I wasn't scared, but I'm just trying to picture myself. Okay, so I'm seeing this sequence in a dark theater with a crowd.
Yeah.
And now I'm, like with Bill and George at the beginning, I'll be much more invested in them as real people. So to see that sequence play out, I'm seeing all these sequences and I'm going, yeah, taken by itself, it's not that scary. But when you're in the whole story and you've been sitting in this theater for like 30 minutes and you start seeing people being chased by zombies and lepers or whatnot, I definitely think that it's going to be scary. Because once you start hearing Pennywise talking as well, and that it's going to turn out to be quite an interesting experience. This will be, I think, a very intense R-rated horror movie.
Yeah, I think so, and I hope so.
Yes. Okay, so and there's the famous lettering for it, which is very cool.
Yeah.
I guess overall, I just have to say that this trailer is really well put together. Even the teaser trailer, which we haven't shown any images from, but where they're floating, the camera zooms pans through the sewer pipe.
Yeah.
And you hear the "We all float down here" line. And the poster.
The poster, I love it.
The poster is just fantastic, just like the poster for the Dark Tower as well. So there's two good posters that I want to get for my to put up on my wall this year, which is fantastic. So
yeah.
And I think that was it. So that's all the images that we pulled from the trailer. Didn't want to do a trailer review because there's like 15 tons of them out there on the internet. So, but I thought we thought it'd be fun to mix it up, because a lot of times on the podcast we talk about things and it's hard because you're not seeing them with us. So this is maybe something that we'll do depending on the reaction on a more regular basis as a supplement to the podcast because we have one item left, which again is very hard to do without visuals, and when we try to describe it in the podcast, and I know it's something that Hans really likes to talk about. So
but I want to say one more thing first before this movie, and I think that it was fun to do this. I learned two new things that I had missed: the leper and his eyes. So I hope others have seen stuff that they didn't know either before they seen this one.
Right.
And I also think that even though the old Pennywise is an icon, I think that by showing this trailer, and when you see this trailer, you can definitely see that this movie will be much darker, and
Yes.
Pennywise will be more evil, I think. And I think that once I've seen this movie, I think I will like the new Pennywise better than the older one, even though it's a classic and he will always be the original Pennywise. But I think that this one will be much more scary. And I think that when you, especially if you look the comparison that was put online, where they compare scenes from this trailer and from the scenes from the miniseries, I think that the scenes from this new one tops all the others by being more scary and more beautiful to look at, really.
Yes.
So I think that this one will top the older one.
Yeah.
I'm fairly convinced that will be the case.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's the cinematography in this one is just so luscious and makes it just really seem really lifelike. Whereas the other one, when you watch it, it's pretty flat and you can tell it was done for TV. So
yeah.
And of course that's the technology and whatnot, but still, it's this trailer is just fantastic, and it was really well engineered to start, based on people's memories, recollections of the miniseries, but then it moved into the book territory and really set up a lot of stuff. And then those fast cut scenes where you're seeing like sequences, and it says, "What are you afraid of?" In September or something like that. That was really, really, really well done, and the music and the sound effects and everything just were spot on. Just the only bad thing now is I think everybody's expectations of the movies have gone sky high, right? So,
the rest of the movie better be as good as the trailer, because otherwise everyone will think that now. So if it isn't, then there might be in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that, and you know what, it played off of, it leveraged off of the Stranger Things vibe as well, showing the Losers Club. Because lots of times I heard people say, "Boy, this reminds me of Stranger Things," which is funny because it kind of goes full circle back to the Stranger Things. The Duffer Brothers saying that their inspiration for that series was the Losers Club from it. So it's kind of come full circle again. So
and I think it will work good now that they have upgraded it to the kids being in the 80s instead of the 50s, and because of that, we won't. It's almost like when we started the podcast and talked about the new Carrie movie all the time, and we didn't want to see her tweet or Facebook, and it's the same here. I don't think that the difference between the 80s and the 50s are that big, because if they would have put it in like say present time, then that there would have been a big difference with the internet and everything like that. But the 80s and the 50s, it's not that big a difference. It looked different, but it's not that a big a difference.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's just right before things exploded with technology, so it works perfectly. Of course, it's going to make it difficult for this second movie, which, after this trailer response is probably looking like a much safer bet. For the adults in present day, you're going to be faced with all those issues, plus just the fact that a horror movie with kids as the main characters is hard to top when you go to the adults. I just don't think it's going to get the same kind of vibe, and it'll be much harder to generate the same kind of investment by the viewers. Because just seeing kids, trying to get away from a monster is automatically scarier than an adult. So.
But on the other hand, they have built. You have invested in the first movie and in the kids, and you want to know what's happening, and you're already invested in the story, so you still want to go and see what's happening in it. I think it would be harder if you did it the other way around.
Oh, definitely.
It would be harder to keep everyone interested. So I think this will be a success. I think this is going to be one of the good guys. I almost said one of the better King adaptations.
Well, we'll see. I mean, there's been a lot of trailers out there that looked really good, and then the movie was terrible, and vice versa. And the same thing, like, just because the movie got I think after 36 hours, it was almost at a mind-blowing 250 million views, which just I just can't wrap my head around that. But how many of those people that are viewing the trailer are actually going to go to the theater and see it is another story.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks very positive, but you can't. It's not money in the bank until the money's in the bank.
Yeah, that's true. But I
Yeah.
haven't heard many people complain about trailers. So
No,
I mean,
I've heard a lot
most
of
people
people.
who've seen it,
Yeah.
most people who have seen it is happy with it. And I mean, if you're happy with it, then you're probably going to go and see it. So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people who doesn't like it, but
Well, I've
from
heard
what
other
I
people.
hear, there are few.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anybody that didn't like it. There's, one or two that maybe said it didn't do anything for them. But I've heard a significant number say that that's too scary for me to go see in the theater. So
Yeah.
there's no way I'm going to see that in the theater. Maybe at home with my friends, but he says not in the theater. So that's an element of it too. But it's interesting to watch trailer reactions because some people are like totally losing their mind, like they're scared shitless.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of going just from a trailer, like without the context, and you have to be in, like for me, a horror movie, you really have to be in that experience for the whole time before you actually get invested enough to get really scared. Here, I was just look at that and say, wow, that looks cool. That can be really scary kind of thing. But yeah.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our thoughts on it. And when Hans puts this up on the YouTube channel, I hope you guys take some time to comment and let us know what you think of this. And we have no idea how this is going to turn out when we put it up. And we'll be looking at it as well. And if anybody has suggestions, that would be great. But we do have one more treat before we go, and that is the cover for this. So Hans?
Well, this one popped up here very unexpected last week. And I asked Lou if you could include it here because, I mean, we're doing a video podcast, so why not?
Exactly.
And it's a kind of strange cover. It's definitely some moths in it. We talked about that earlier on. And I've heard reactions to it that it might be done from the same team that did the Bizarro Bad Dreams cover because it's very similar in style.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know really what I think about it. I think it's nice, but then it's kind of it doesn't tell much of the story in the cover. I don't know. It's or maybe it does. Sometimes when you read the book and afterwards see the cover, you're seeing like, oh, how could I miss that? And how could I miss that?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think about the cover?
I really like it, and it's. I heard that comment you made before about people saying it looked like the people that did Bizarre Bad Dreams. It also gives me a Silence of the Lambs vibe, if you remember that one with the moth on the cover. Yeah. And the whole thing about metamorphosis, which was a theme in the Silence of the Lambs, and what we know from the plot line with all the women in the world sort of like going into these cocoons. I think there's this whole concept of that they're going to change into something else when they come out of it. So and this Evie character might be like the queen moth or something like that. I don't know, but and it's kind of interesting because around their mouth and nose of this picture, it almost looks like sort of like mushrooms or fungus or something like that. So I think it's and the title, The Sleeping Beauties. Hopefully this metamorphosis is going to be a good one. But I think it tells quite a bit, and I think it also probably is misleading right now based just on what we know. But it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is a cover that will make more sense after you have read the book, because then you'll see maybe some clues that you can't really see now, or you can see them and you can't really understand what they mean. But I sometimes I feel that a cover that is this vague, if you lack of better words, might not attract people who, I mean, we are Stephen King fans. We will read everything he does no matter how the cover look. But I mean, if you're going to sell this to someone who isn't a King fan, it might be harder to sell this than let's say a picture of a rabid dog for Cujo. That might be easier because then you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying that is the case, but it could be the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I guess
don't
we'll
know.
see.
I mean, the Science of the Lamb covers seem to work okay, and I guess maybe they're trying to borrow from that motif as well. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, when it comes to Stephen King, I don't really think the cover have any. I mean, you buy the book because it's a Stephen King book. You're not going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to buy this one because the cover is ugly,"
mm-hmm.
or something like that. I don't think people do that when it comes to an author like Stephen King. So
yeah, for sure. And it's
but it will be interesting to talk about this cover again once we have read the book and see if there actually is some clues in here that we didn't see now, but we can see when we have read the book. And
it'll also be interesting to see variants of this color from other countries as well too, to see what they do with it, because like with the revival, I think the North Americans got probably the lamest cover out of the ones that was released. I love the other one with the tent, and the other one with the lightning rod in the park. That was an awesome cover, but the one that we got was generic with that lightning bolt across the sky. Didn't tell you anything. So
no. Hopefully the UK cover for this one will be out soon.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get some more clues from that one.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to cover. So guys, there you go. This is our first and hopefully one of more to come, video chats, and nice supplement to the podcast. And it's great, Hans, to do these and get to be able to show the images that we're looking at when we're talking about them. Lots of other things are coming up. Hopefully, pressure now is really mounting on Sony to get that Dark Tower trailer out. So that would be nice to talk about that as well, and other book covers that come along as well. So let us know what you think, guys. And
exactly. And exactly. Let us know what you think, and if you have some suggestions that stuff we can do better, or stuff we can talk about because we can talk about a bit different things when we can use this image and show you stuff that we can't really. It doesn't really make sense when we do it just audio wise. So this opens up some new possibilities, but let us know if you have some suggestions.
Yes. All right. So, Hans, lots of fun.
Yep.
Talk
to you next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See y'all, constant watchers.
Okay.
I was waiting a long time to say that one.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. I have stopped my recorder.